Hello everyone, this is going to be our 2020 throwback class where I teach you guys over a computer and don't interact with you. I'm going to try to make this as quick as I possibly can. We'll see, while also explaining things, but I won't repeat stuff too much in hopes that you guys can just like pause and rewind if you need to try to keep this to be like not a 2 hour long video. But this is going to be going over our second assignment for After Effects, over rotoscoping, masking, and the puppet tool. So we're going to do like 3 tasks. I have provided resources on the Canvas assignment for you to use. You can also use your own if you so choose. And then I also have further tutorials posted on that assignment to help you out if you do need additional help. So to get to the resources, you could just go to that resources page. I recommend downloading the videos directly. So there's 2 videos, the fire and the dancing person, and then 1 Illustrator file. So for the videos, I recommend clicking on those links, choosing the 1920 by 1080 download, and download directly from there. You should be able to download it for free without an account for this one. If you download directly from here, your video will be like super pixelated. So that's why I recommend going through the website. And then listed beneath that should just be that Flame Illustrator file. And before I get started, I wanted to explain how I have the Illustrator file composed for the purposes of our use. So usually in Illustrator, it's similar to this very first layer where we have everything like together on one layer. And we can always easily like drag and drop stuff into new layers. So usually while I'm making my stuff in Illustrator to use in After Effects, I'm just working on one layer. And then before I import it into After Effects though, this is when I have to prep my file. So basically my plan for this flame is to have like this flame with his eyes and the mini flame inside to like flicker, and then for him to like swing his feet around and potentially like wiggle his feet. So basically I need the leg to move independently from the body and the foot to move independently from the leg. So when you're prepping the file, you basically need to separate your layers, like make layers for each thing that needs to move independently from the other objects. So that's why I have a foot file, a foot layer, like 2 feet layer, 2 leg layers, and then I have 1 layer that is the full body because I'm just gonna move these all as one cohesive piece. And then I just have it saved as that Illustrator file. So let's open up After Effects. We're first gonna pull in the flame file. I'm gonna do walk y'all through the assignment in opposite order than I think I have it described. Just because I think, well, this one, the first part will be kind of working with keyframes, so it's a reminder of last class. But we're gonna do new project. New composition. I'm gonna name it like fire. No, that might be appropriate. Fire. We'll just do fire. And then I'm gonna use that 1920 by 1080 preset that we used last time. I do want to note we will be changing this, but we're gonna change it later because I want to tell you why we're changing it. So for now, just use that preset because that's usually what we'll use. And then have it set to 6 seconds. And then if you would like, you can change the background color. Again, the background color won't really affect anything when you export that video, but it's more just like to make you happy while you're working. So let us start that composition. And then let's pull in everything first. So file, import, file. Let's pull in the flame. So you're gonna click on the Illustrator file. For this one, you want to make sure you do composition. So like when we pulled in the music, we did as footage. When we pull in the videos, we're going to do it as footage. So most things are footage, except for if you need, it's like for Photoshop or Illustrator, if you need access to those layers to move them around independently from each other. So that's when we do composition rather than footage. If I did this as footage, I would not be able to control its little legs like separately from each other. So I want to make sure I choose composition. And then let me pull in those videos for now. Oh my gosh, I saved everything in a different spot. Okay, there are my 2 videos, and you can see we can just pull those in as footage, and it'll pull in both of those videos. So, we're gonna do something a little bit differently than how we used Photoshop. Because we had like our whole video composition set up in Photoshop, I've just pulled in like the layers individually. But because I need to work with like these other videos and then also animate my flame like separately from them, I'm going to pull in this composition listing rather than the folder full of the separated layers. And I'll show you why in a second. So pull in the flame one where right now I have no control over those like separate layers. But we will, don't worry. And then I may as well pull in my fire. Oh, and rescale it. Unlike Photoshop, you have to hold down Shift to do it proportionately. Pull in the lady. Oh no, I can't see the lady. To be able to see her, I can pull her above that fire level. Oh, oh. Okay, rescale her, and now let's get started on the flame. But now we have 3 of our layers. You can see those videos playing now in the background. Look at her go. Okay, so we're going to animate the flame to like do that flicker and for its legs to like wiggle back and forth. And again, the way we put it in our composition, we can't access that. But we're gonna do that thing where sometimes you guys would accidentally get to that where you lose everything except for one layer. We're gonna do that on purpose. So we're gonna double click on that flame layer, and you can see I only have the flame now. I lost its legs because the background's black, so I just need to change that. But you can see now I have a tab open that is specifically the flame, but I have that full tab of everything together. So this allows us to work individually with the flame and like set all of its keyframes that will affect how it acts in the like full composition. So let me change my background first so we can see his legs. Composition settings, and then we can just change that background. And you can see this is the area where I could change the time and setup of my project. I'm just changing the background so I could see him. Okay, so first thing we have to do is we kind of have to like paste parts together like a little puppet. So right now, I'm sure y'all noticed before, like when you click on an object, it has that center point, the anchor point. We can change where that's located on our objects, and that's what we're gonna do. So basically, I place the anchor point first step, and I place it depending on if I were to rotate my object, what would be the like center of its mass that it would rotate around. So for the body, like if I ever wanted to rotate it, I'd probably want it more like near the base. And then the legs is what's like important. So actually while I'm here, I'm gonna rename this to be body. What is this? This is foot. I'm gonna rename all my layers really quick. Foot left. I'm just right clicking this to get to the rename. If you double click on one of these, that's going to bring you to that like tab that's only that piece. So if you do end up there, you can just click on the tab that will bring you back to the flame. Okay, leg, right. And then I think this is just background and we don't need that, so I'm just going to delete it. Okay, so I'm going to want my leg to basically kick like it's connected to the body. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that anchor point, oh my god, if I stop scrolling chaotically, to the base of the body. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned, but this pan behind anchor point tool is what allows you to move the anchor point. If I just use the white arrow, it's going to move the whole leg around. So you want to click on this anchor point tool, and then you could click on the anchor point and drag it around. Key information. Okay. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I'm using my mouse and I am not doing well. Okay, so now let's do it with the foot, because basically if the foot were to rotate, we want it to rotate around the ankle. So let's just move the anchor point like there, and then we're gonna do the same on that right leg. Oh, I guess this would be his left leg, but whatever. Okay, so let us drag that anchor point to be up near that body, and then let's do the foot to be his ankle. Okay, so now let's just like demo that really quick, and then I'll show you an issue we run into that we need to fix. So now if I went into my leg and I played around with rotating it, you can see he could kick around. Yay! But an issue is he leaves his foot behind. And same thing, like if I were to move his body somewhere, he leaves his legs behind. So we kind of have to like sew them together so that if I move the body, the legs come along with it. If I move the legs, the feet come along with it. So this is where we're going to be parenting things. So it's this little swirly. And you basically, like for foot left, we're going to left click, hold. So hold left click on that swirly. And I'm just dragging. You can see it makes that line. I'm dragging it over to the left leg. And now we can test it. If I move that left leg, you can see his foot's connected now. He's kicking. Okay, so let's do that with the right foot. So I'm dragging from the one, like the baby connects to the parent. So grab the swirly, going to the leg. And now if I did the same thing with the right leg, the foot will stay connected, and then I'm going to do that with the body. So now I want the feet, or not the feet, the legs to connect to the body. So grab their swirly, drag it up to the body, and now if I were to like click on the body, oh, I connected the foot instead of the leg. Okay, redo. Leg. Now if I move it, okay, there. He's a complete little flame. He's a full boy now. Great. So now we can like do our mini keyframe refresher before we get into the puppet tool. So first, for my animation, I just want his little legs to be like kicking back and forth chaotically. So he's just like flailing about. So I'm going to animate a leg. I want to animate that left leg first, is fine for me. I'm going to make sure I'm at 0 seconds in time. And I want it to start from like way over here to the left to swing kind of inward. And it's going to repeat that. So let's set its position. So I'm just clicking on that rotation value and I'm dragging to change it. So we'll say that's like one of the extremes, and this is going to be my start position. So I have my time set. I'm going to click on my stopwatch to set that keyframe, and it records that position. Now, this is going to take playing around to see how fast you want this to happen, but I'm going to go like 1 second out for now to see. So I'll drag my time, and then I'm going to change its rotation. So basically from 0 to 1 second, it's going to drop its leg in. And then I can also, if I just want it to do that over and over again, I mentioned this last class, we can copy paste our keyframes. So say I want this swinging motion to happen on repeat. I just shift selected to grab both of those keyframes. I'm doing copy. So I'm assuming it's Command C on Mac. I'm going to set the value I want it, or time I want it to be pasted on. That first one will be pasted on, and I do paste. And you can see it copy pasted those leg points. And this is a 6-second long video, so I'll probably do one more. But now is when I can play around with how fast the flame is kicking his legs. Right now it's kind of like a slow kick. So if I wanted this to be faster, I can drag select all of these. Oh, and this might be, can I remember my hotkeys correctly? Okay, so I drag selected all of my hotkeys, and then I'm holding down Alt on PC. I would assume it's same on Mac, but you can see they're all scaling proportionately with each other. So they're maintaining that gap, but they're like decreasing or increasing in time of that like whole scenario. So now I scaled it down really fat or really small, so this should be like a faster kick. Oh, and I actually like that. I like that kick speed. So again, that was holding down Alt on all of them, and you can scale it. So once I have like the speed I want, I could go in again and copy paste. Oh wait, these are like ever so slightly off. I'll have it end at like 2 seconds so that I can easily line that up. So Control C, pick my time of when I want the paste to start happening, paste, paste, and now he's just going to be kicking away for 6 seconds. There he is. So now let's do that with his other leg. So I could just go in, copy paste this whole scenario, and paste it onto that right leg. Oh, one thing I should mention is if you did want to be like more realistic, you could do that ease in and ease out. So for the beginning one, you would do ease out. And then for the middle ones, you would do that easy ease, because it goes in and out. And then the last one, why does this not line up with, oh, because I chaotically didn't line it up. That last one, you would do the ease in, and then all of these would be easy ease. I don't know if I can actually change them all at the same time. I can! So now it'll have like slow down and speed up. Oh, that's pleasant. That's very nice. And now I'll copy paste them. Okay, so let's copy paste these onto, what am I doing? Control C, what am I doing? Control C, and now let's find his other leg. And I'm gonna hit, like click on the layer and hit R, and you can see it just brings up the rotation one. And I'm going to go in. Oh, first I have to set the keyframes, and then I can hit paste. Oh, it sets the location too. We don't want the location copy pasted. Okay, maybe we don't copy paste them. We'll make it ourselves. So let's, should I have him go this way or like outward, like he's jumping? We'll do like that. And then this one will go inward. Oh, he's jumping over and over again. And then I could copy paste these, I guess. Oh, look at these chaotically not lining up, but that's okay. And then after I paste all of these, I'll go in and do those easy ease business. Great. So that first one, again, it's starting, so it's heading to the right, so I would do ease out. That last one, it's heading into it from the left, so it's easing in, and the rest in between. So I'm right clicking and a keyframe assistant, and then easy ease. So now he should be kicking with both of his legs. And also, I should mention before we get into the puppet tool, if I go back to my full composition, so this right now is just my flame, if I click on that fire tab, you can see his legs are in position. So if I hit play over here, you can see he's wiggling his feet. Okay, so let's do the puppet tool action now. So this is going to be on the flame part of him. Let's close. Oh, I didn't do the feet. If you want the feet to wiggle, you can also do that. It's the same thing where it would be rotating it. So basically the same exact steps as the legs. And while he's swinging his legs, he would also be like wiggling his toes while he's doing it. So if you want extra practice. Okay, so let's do puppet tool. So this is our pin tool. Can you not open this up anymore? It has the little thing like I can. Am I just not very smart right now? I might not be smart right now. I mean, we'll just use this one. There are like different versions of the pin tool that I could show you guys once I remember how to open these, I guess. So, we're gonna click on the body, and the pin tool is basically like, imagine the body is like made out of rubber, and you're like putting in nails or pins into different areas, and you can like pull the pins around to kind of like stretch it around. So this is a way to like animate a like full image is with this pin tool. There are different kinds of pins. Right now we're doing the like generic pin, which is fine, but there is like a pin specifically for rotating, one that like creates kind of like a bone structure, and they have different colors. Like the bone ones are red, but this generic one we'll be using is yellow, and it will do what we need it to do. So I'm gonna put pins in basically where I think I need the flame to move around. So I would want to move like one of these flames individually. So I'll put it on each of the flames. And then the body is kind of like interpretive. Maybe I'll do like, you do want to do as few pins as possible, otherwise you're going to have to account for all of them, and it's kind of a pain. So I could either just do like one for the body, or potentially, maybe I'll do one in each eye if I want to move those like around separately, and then maybe I'll just put one on the base. I potentially would want one here. We'll see what happens. So now with this, we can basically set moments in time and change our pins. So it automatically sets a keyframe when you put a pin in. You can't really see it right away, but if I move the timer away, you can see there's a little dot right there. If I open up that tab until it becomes a triangle, there it is. This isn't a triangle, but you guys know what I mean. But you see it's a keyframe now. So if you do want to like access the keyframe specifically and move it around, you just have to go in and find where it is. But basically it made like a puppet pin tool, or like transform effect for each of the pins you put in. So now we just have to like keep track of it. And we can do this directly by just moving them around. We don't have to work in the layers area. So say I want them all like this at 0 seconds, and then I'm just gonna go a second out. I don't really know yet. I'm gonna go in with my white arrow, and you can see, oh my god, if I, sorry, my like mouse wheel is like moving on its own. But you can see I can drag and stretch parts on the sky. So you can see if I like stretch it really far, it's gonna have extreme deformities. But we're just gonna do like a gradual thing, like he's flickering. I might just keep his eyes stable, honestly. And then it's gonna automatically set those new keyframes you can see, and I only moved 3 puppet pin tools. So it only did those 3. And then I'll go like 2 seconds out, and I'll have them like flicker to the left or something. And then maybe 3 seconds out, I'll have them like become a super small version of itself. Oh no, don't restart my computer. Go away. Okay, so let's see how that looks. So you can see his little flame moving around. That's fine for purposes of this. I'd probably want it to be a little bit faster, but let's copy paste these now. So I want to copy paste these. You can see I cannot drag select them until I open them up. But once I drag select, I can do copy, paste out. If I did want it to go faster, I could drag select all of them, and then was it Alt I could click and drag in, and it'll do a faster version. Let me try to line this up with 5 seconds. Great. Oh, I'd want that even faster. He's going so slow. And then I can also do the like ease in, ease out on this too. So it's like it's a more gradual shift between. So we'll just do that pretty fast, and I'm gonna paste it again to repeat it because I wanted mine faster. So play around with that of how you want to use it. Again, how many pins you have is like how much control you have. But if you have too many pins, you have to like control all of them. You can see my base is staying relatively still because I did set those 3 pins down there. So basically like these pins are pulling from those 2. If I only had this one other pin at the bottom, it would have like mutated the eyes as well. You can see like a slight effects happening, but it's not too big. So now on my main composition, he's flickering around. Oh, maybe I should just put me saying I'll go really fast on this, and also me wanting to make this beautiful. I'm gonna do some. Can I not do that? Oh, there we are. Easy eases. This is the easy eases outs, and the easy eases in. How does he look now? Is it like smooth? Oh, that's weird. I don't like that. That's kind of funny though. Oh, I would want to go into my speed graph. Okay, I'm undoing all that. Okay, so let us go now into the masking part of this assignment. So here's puppet pin tool. Yay! And now let's do masking. I'm gonna hide my little flame layer for now, and well, actually I'm not, because we're gonna be using it for the mask. I'm actually gonna be hiding the lady layer right now, and I'm going to make 2 copies of the forest fire. So I'm just gonna Control C, Control V, or Command C, Command V, and you guys can like choose a different way of doing the mask, but I'm basically going to have the flame come out from behind the hill. So right now, like, he's on top of it the whole time. I'm going to show you guys how you can, it's kind of like in Photoshop, doing a mask where it like deletes part of the image and leaves the rest to be visible. we can do that to videos in After Effects. And I'm going to basically show you 2 ways of doing that, making the mask yourself and then using a built-in tool called rotoscoping. That's basically just like an AI calculated mask. So we're going to make it come out from behind the hill, so we need the hill to be in front of the flame, but we need the sky to be behind the flame. So we need a mask basically to get rid of this sky part. And this is I always forget how to do this because it is so simple. So once you have your layer selected, all you do is either grab a shape or the pen tool and put it on that layer. So say I wanted, why can't I open these up? There should be like circles and stuff. This might be I email you guys later of me figuring out how to open up these tools, because this is I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm gonna do a square, I guess. But you can see if I grab my square and I have my fire video selected and I draw that square. Oh, it's kind of hard to see because I do have the other flame layer. I'm gonna hide it for now. But you can see now, like, this box, like depending on how I have it positioned, is revealing the flame layer. So you can see with my white arrow, I can like edit the points if I just wanted to be like, there's a hill. Great. And you can see right now it is saying what's inside of the square is visible, but we can change that on this little tab that showed up once we drew the shape onto the video layer. And we now have this mask drop down that determines how that mask is, what that mask is doing basically. So right now it's saying what is visible, but if we do subtract, it's going to say what is like eliminated from the video. So if I do like this super janky way, I'll just like demonstrate. I'll put that fire back on. And then if I grab my flame, you can see he moves out from behind the hill. Yay! So we're basically going to do that, but with the pen tool, because we could be a little bit more specific. So if I want to get rid of my mask, I can just click on that layer and hit delete. So let's add a mask with the pen tool. So again, all you have to do is have that layer selected, so the video is selected. What am I doing? Also, good practice to be at 0 seconds in time while you're working. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my pen tool, and then I'm basically going to make the shape. Oh, what I want to, I'm just going to do the hill for simplicity. If you want to be extra, you can do the trees. Gonna grab the hill, and there's my mask. It's adding, and I want it to subtract. And if I do need to edit it, I could go to my white arrow, and you can see I can move my dots around. And now let's just do a quick like position keyframe for the fire guy. So I'm gonna have him start like over here. Position keyframe, and then at like, I don't know, random moment in time, he's gonna come out and dance over here. So now you can see he comes out from behind the hill and dances around. Something else I should mention, because this directly connects into us using the Rotoscope tool, is you can frame by frame animate your mask. So you could, at like, you can see I have mask path. I could set for like each second a very different like shape for my mask, so that you can basically animate and follow along with the video. So say this like hill changed locations over time, I could go each frame and change where each of those points is laying to have the mask follow along with the video. This is what leads me into the Rotoscope tool, because this is a tool built into After Effects. It's a little janky, that will do this for you. So let's get that dancing lady back in. This will be the last thing we do, besides remembering to animate. Oh, do I want her on top of everything? I guess I want her on top of everything. She's like hiding behind the hill. If she was like behind the flames, I would have her in the back, but we're not doing that. I don't think the Rotoscope tool could figure out that. But we're basically going to tell After Effects AI to like figure out who this dancing form is and cut them out from the background layer. So this is gonna take like a little bit of finessing, and you might need like a lot of time between each frame for it to register what's happening. So be patient with this. It's also gonna be a little bit janky, but the more time you spend with it, the like more refined you can make it. So let's do it. Let's everyone save first. Rotoscoping sometimes is quite demanding. What did I call this? Fire? Great. Okay, so I'm going to click on this brush. It's called the Roto Brush tool. And so we actually need to like do one thing first, but I'm going to do this because it'll show you that you need to do it. So you can see I clicked on the lady with that paintbrush, and it's telling me to open her in her own panel. So basically we're going to do the same thing we did with the flame, is we're going to double click on that dancing lady video to bring her into her own own little composition that will then go back to the main one, and she'll be rotoscoped. Okay, so now grab that paintbrush, and what you want to do is, you can see it's a little like green plus sign right now. If I hold down Alt for PC, you can see it makes a red negative sign. So this is basically, it's kind of like our magic wand, or like smart selection tools of like adding on or subtracting from a selection. That's basically all we're going to be doing. So the first time you do it, you're going to try to do like one stroke. This is also, it works kind of like Shape Builder, where you just draw a line through all of the things that you want, and then it's going to try to calculate it. So you can see it didn't do a very good job. But it tried. So it made this pink outline, trying to figure out what forms I meant. So now for this first step is where I want to make this like as refined as possible. Try to do like large strokes. So just clicking is going to be adding on. Holding down Alt will subtract. And then I can fine tune this. You can see this is smaller than my brush, so I can change my brush size if I only just remember how to do it. That's not it. Is it Shift? No. Is it Control? Yes. Okay, so for me it's Control. If I hit Control, you have to like commit to it. You hit Control and then you hit left click and you drag left or right, and that's going to change the scale of the brush, because they didn't want to stick with the same presets that Photoshop uses, because it's its own program. So I'm assuming it's like command for you guys, but I hit Control and then left click with my mouse and it can change the scale. So smaller the brush, the smaller details I can like get in here. Oh geez. We're going to try to make this first one as good as possible, because everything else is going to be based off of it. Come on, get her little finger, thanks. It's not going to be perfect. We also do have like feathering options similar to doing masks in Photoshop. Oh, you could be extra and like do all of her little hairs and everything, but we're not. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so now that I have everything done, I'm going to hit my space bar, and you can watch the pink line follow along with her form throughout the video. And this is where the like dirty work happens. As you can see, sometimes in this playback the line is like straying to the ocean, or it's like chopping off an arm. So this is where we would have to go in frame by frame, and the first instant something goes wrong, that's when you want to fix it, and it will adjust it going forward. So you're going to go frame by frame and add on or subtract from the rotoscope. And this is where sometimes it takes a while to load between layers. So let's start doing that. Okay, and I ignored this pop-up message when I started, but this is when I should probably address it. So you can see this pop-up thing is saying that for best results, I should set my composition to 25 FPS because the video I downloaded is that, but my composition is set to like 29.97. So basically, my composition has more frames than this video does. I can try to recreate the issue that it would cause before I fix it for you guys, but I would basically want to change my full composition to 25 to avoid the issue. So it won't happen until you freeze, like finalize your rotoscope. But basically the issue that happens, so if this does happen to you, this is what is causing it. If you're at the point where you go back to your composition and like every other second, the background of the ocean is just like flashing like non-stop in the background, that is because there's like an extra frame in there that it's like needing to fill in. So that's why we would have to set it to 25 so that it doesn't need to have like that extra unaccounted for frame. So keep that in mind if you do have the issue. If you have a flashing issue, you just have to line up your like frames per second for both videos. So let's fix our rotoscope a little bit. I won't do it too intensely just to keep this on the shorter side because I'm sure this is already at like 40 minutes or something. So you can see we can just drag that blue, not this bottom one. I usually use this top one because it's for this like full composition specifically. There's also, what is the hotkey? I'm assuming it's control right arrow or command right arrow. For me, it's control right arrow. We can like click through literally like frame by frame to track our purple line. So right here, I could go in and you can see I'm starting to see the ocean behind her hand. I could go in the first instance it starts, so like right here, I could go in, make my brush smaller. Oh, if I remember how to do that, was it control? Yeah, control. And then hold down left click and pull it to the left. And then I want to like try to subtract that. And then I can see, the weird thing with this is you won't, I don't know why it works differently, but you won't see the fruits of your labeler right away. You'll see it like in the next few frames. So that's why you want to like catch it right away. It like needs time to register. Oh my god, what is it doing? So this is where we'd have to go in, and this is the like really annoying part, is making sure it adjusts for that. Where does she like lose her arm? Let's do like those bigger changes first. It's doing like a relatively good job. It usually like cuts off her fingers. So if she was like losing her finger at this point, did she almost lose it? Oh, she kind of does. I don't know if that's too crucial, but we could pop that back in. Oh, here's like when it like gets the ocean back in there. We want to get rid of the ocean. The goal of this class is to get rid of the ocean. Anti-environment class. And then you can just go in frame by frame, having it play between to like register the effects. And then like you can go back to your flame, your full composition, and you can see you're dancing around. Oh my god, big ocean spot. Oh, also other helpful tools in this is you can like, there's these little various like masking options. So this first one is just like seeing it in black and white. So this can help you like see that edge and if it looks continuous. We also have this one where it just like removes the background or not. And then this third one does like a washed out version of the background, which is super helpful. There was one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh, freezing it. So once you're done, this is what's gonna probably cause the issue. Watch I like don't cause the issue. So say I'm happy with this. Oh, also if you do want to play around with feather, I didn't mention feather, but it does the same-ish style thing where like you can blur the edge more or have like a crisper edge. But once you're done, basically like every time it's doing this, it's kind of like calculating that edge. Once you're happy with it, you can freeze that calculation. So to the bottom right of the like sample video, there's this freeze button and you can click it, and this is where it might take a while because it's gonna basically like save your rotoscope controls so it doesn't have to calculate it each time and save memory when you go back to your other composition. So you only want to do this like once you're happy with it, but you can go back and unfreeze it if you need to. And this is where hopefully I'll have the issue and I can show you guys. Warning, just in case that if it does get the issue, it's gonna be like flashing a bunch. Yeah, here we go. So this is the issue of if we don't set up our like compositions to be matching frame rates, because we have an extra frame, or I guess 4 frames in this. So we want to change that. We're going to do composition settings, and I think it said 25 is what it wanted. And we can hit OK, and I think we have to redo the rotoscope for it to take effect. Oh, it is. Oh. Are we okay? Okay. Yeah, so let's re-freeze that rotoscope. And it should be okay now. But that's the last thing we're gonna do in this. If you want, I forgot to like say put a soundtrack in. I think it'd be funny if you guys put a soundtrack in. So if you want to practice putting soundtracks in, you could do that as well. Figure out what music this lady's listening to as the world burns around her. Watch this doesn't fix it. Yay, it fixed it. So if it flashes after you rotoscope, you want to make sure there's not that little angry message telling you your composition frame rates don't match up. Reset your frame rate on your main composition to match your other video, and then you'll have to refreeze your rotoscope. Oh, I guess the end of this, I'll show you guys again how to export your video in case you need. And then we'll be done. So we are happy with it. We put in music if we wanted to. Save one more time in case it crashes when it's opening the media encoder. Watch, it's like more stable now, and I'm like doing this for no reason, but saving is always a good reason. So we're gonna do composition, add to Adobe Media Encoder queue, and then it'll open up. It might take a little bit longer to have it pop up within Media Encoder, and then we're just gonna use that, was it the H.264 codec, and make sure it saves as an MP4. There it is. And once you're ready, you just hit that green arrow and it'll make your video. This one might take a little bit longer than our other one because it is a bit more complicated. So it has 2 videos. It has a rotoscoped video, and then it has the puppet pin tool. And of course, your very last step is do watch through your video that was like rendered to make sure it rendered properly. Otherwise, you might have to go back in, re-render it, or even make adjustments if for some reason like it didn't do it properly. But that is all. If anyone has questions while you're working on this, please do email me. I apologize profusely for having to miss class. Tuesday will be a like refresher time before I introduce our project. I'll probably just like have us do a like rapid test exercise similar to what we did in like Photoshop and I think Illustrator. And then I'll introduce our final project. So see you guys next week.